Hello and welcome to this tutorial by Tuco AI on how you can set up Tuco AI automation with GoHighLevel or GHL or lead connector. First things first, you're going to go into app.tuco.ai. You're going to log in with the credentials after you pay your invoice. And on the left hand side, you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 tab is integration. And then on the top, without scrolling down, you can see CRM right next to API keys. You're going to click on that. Then you're going to see something called lead connector, right? Lead connector is the white labeled name of GoHighLevel. Click on that. Now it's going to give you two options. Do you want the custom conversation provider, or do you want the default provider, or do you want the white labeled app, right? For most people, where you have your own A2P approval, you're not using an external software like CloseBot or any appointment setter, you got to select the custom conversation provider, which is the recommended tab that you just see here. And you're going to click on next. And then you're going to get the lead connector integration key. So how do you get this? First, you got to open app.gohighlevel.com. That's app.gohighlevel.com. And then switch into the sub account that you want to, and then click on settings, which is the cogwheel, and then from the bottom you're going to click on private integrations. You're going to click on private integrations, right? Private integrations. So it's going to show you the option to basically create a new integration. You want to click on that. You're going to name it something like Tuco AI. Click on next. Select all the scopes. Click on create. And now you're going to get the PIT token. It's going to start with PIT. You need that. Click on copy. And then you want to save this for your own reference later. But for now, you're just going to paste it back into Tuco. Click on next. And then you got to get your location ID. Here's how you get your location ID. Go into business profile. And then here you're going to see your location ID. It's going to look like this. You're going to click on copy. Go back into Tuco. Paste it. And then you got to check if you gave us all the right permissions. So click on check scopes. It's going to say that we have access to all these things because it's a two-way sync between Tuco and GoHighLevel. Click on continue, connect. And then now it's going to give you a Tuco API key. It's going to start with Tuco_. Click on copy. Don't click on finish. Click on install lead connector. You want to click on install lead connector. It's going to ask you to log in again. Click on install. I'm going to log in. Now please pay attention. You can install it in one sublocation at a time. So only install it on one sublocation at a time. And then click on install. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click on continue. I checked only one. Click on allow and install. It's going to open this, and then in the previous step, you copied an API key. So paste that in, click on connect account, and you should see a check. All right, perfect. So now I'm going to load GoHighLevel again. Go back and then expand. And then here, click on App Marketplace. And then on the top, click on Installed Apps. And you should be able to see Tuco when you're refreshing. Okay, if you don't see that, you want to probably reinstall it. All right, there we have it. And then now we're going to set up the automation. It's pretty simple. I'm going to click on automations. On the top, I'm going to click create workflow and I'm going to click start from scratch. The first thing you're going to do is, you have some sort of a trigger. This could be a tag that you're adding. It could be a contact that is created. Click on save. And then the first thing is we're going to switch into apps right here and search for Tuco and click on check iMessage. Now it's going to autofill contact.phone_raw. That is good. And then add another action. Click on if else. You're going to see this branch. Build your own. And then iOS available. I'm going to name it iOS available. Click on Tuco AI. Check iMessage available. And click on true. And then click on save action. So what this is going to do is it's going to send the Tuco messages using the Tuco number. It's going to send the A2P SMS numbers using the other branch. So click on next. Again, go into apps, search for Tuco, and then click send iMessage. Okay, now I want you to pay attention to these things. First things first, you're going to have send iMessage. Second thing is the first message cannot contain attachments. It cannot have links. It has to be a plain text. It cannot have a voice note, nothing like that. Plain text. So you want to do something like, hi contact name, this is BG from Tuco. And then keep in mind, when you use the actual name that you give in the contact ID here, so I'm going to click on finish here, finish. So if your name here says BG Tuco, if you put that in here, it's going to appear as a contact card. So that's pretty important. And then the sending line. So if you have multiple lines in your workspace, it is recommended that you give us which line ID you want to send that out from. So how do you get your line ID? Switch back into Tuco, and then here you're going to see a long number. So this is basically a copy button. Click on that. I'm going to paste that, and then skip if replied. What is skip if replied? It just means that if I'm sending you one text and I'm following up with you later, what if you replied within those two messages, right? So if you leave that as true, it doesn't send them a text when they've already responded to us, right? So you want to keep this blank for the first step, but then if you're doing follow-ups, you want to leave that in. Okay, click on save action. And then now I want to probably wait and follow up with them. So I'm going to wait for, let's say, 1 minute, but in reality, you're going to probably wait for an hour. Click on save. And then now I'm going to send them a voice note. We recommend using voice notes, right? So click on apps, search for Tuco, and then now click send voice note. Now, as you can see, it says block down new conversations, only follow-ups, right? And that's just because like Apple does that thing where they flag accounts. So we just want the first thing to be plain text and then the second thing to have an attachment. So how do you get an attachment URL? So let's say you're sending a voice note. What you can do is like go into something like voice recorder, record this and download an MP3 file, right? Download an MP3 file. And right now I'm just like downloading a random file. Perfect, I'm gonna click on download. It's gonna download that to my computer. All right, now click on download. Click on save. And then now you want to upload this to Tuco AI. So what you can do that is app.tuco.ai. On the left-hand side, you'll see leads. Click on that. And then on the top, you will see upload audio. Click on that. And then drag and drop a file. Now, some common questions you might have is, hey, I have my own MP3 somewhere else. Can I use it? Yes, absolutely. The only caveat is it needs to be publicly accessible. What do I mean by publicly accessible? If you open incognito and paste that URL, it must show you this default interface. You can't put a YouTube link, you can't put a Loom link, you gotta download the MP3 file and upload it, or you can give us your own MP3 file. Now go back, paste that in, and then for me, I'm gonna, just for the sake of the demonstration, I'm gonna have skip if replied as false. But as you can see, if they responded to the first text, you don't want to send them an automated follow-up. And then voice note, if you want it to appear like a waveform, like how Apple has a blue thing. You got to leave this as true, right? And then sending from line, I already have this. So I'm just gonna copy that, paste it here, click on save action, right? So now you gotta save it and then click on test workflow, click on BGUS, click on run test. And now I'm gonna walk you through some of the steps on how you can debug this in case you have issues. So if you click on execution logs, you can see the path that each thing is taking. And in this case, I have an iPhone, so it's gonna try to send me a message now. Let me refresh. All right, the first step came in, and now you can see that it's sending me the first text here. And because I'm sending to my own number, it says this, but then you can see the contact card and all that stuff. So now we're gonna wait for the second voice note to sort of come in. When you're testing it, there are a lot of times where you send a duplicate message, right? If you try to send the same message to the same lead again and again, we will actually catch that. How you can see that is basically go back into the Tuco interface, go into activity logs, and then in case something failed or in case something was deduped, you can see that in this page, right? You don't need that, but in case you're testing it, you might see that duplicate messages are not allowed. Okay, perfect. Now, while it sends the second message, I want to show you how you can access this and then reply to these leads. So click on conversations, and then here you'll be able to see that. Let's say you want to respond to them. You can see that you have the iMessage conversation provider here, so you can reply back with that. And click on sub, and that's going to go here. And I also got the audio message here, which seems like the voice note, right? And then it also has the sub. So if you leave the audio note as off, it's gonna send it this way, but then if you leave the voice note as true, it's gonna send it this way. Perfect. So now I also wanna show you how you can send SMS for people that don't have Tuco. So let's go back into automations. And let's refresh this. Now, let me pick the latest one that I just showed you guys. It's this one. Right now, because these guys have iPhones. What about the guys that don't have iPhones? You can click on this, click on send SMS, and then send a normal text, and that's gonna go through too. So if I try to enroll the same contact again, it's gonna be deduplicated by Tuco to prevent spam. So if you're testing and you're not able to get the second text, instead of saying hi, just say hey, just for testing purposes. It doesn't happen in production. And then you can also see what's going on in activity logs in case you get stuck somewhere. But yeah, this is pretty much straightforward. You can just on the bottom switch between SMS, WhatsApp, and Tuco. You're going to be able to send that, and that's it. That is how you set up Tuco as a custom conversation provider inside of GoHighLevel.